station. This is Houston. Are you ready for the event?
Houston, we are ready.
Associated Press, this is Mission Control Houston. Please call station for a voice check.
Station, this is Marcia Dunn with Associated Press. How do you hear me?
Hello, Marcia, loud and clear.
Well, Happy New Year to you both. Greetings from the Kennedy Space Center in Florida. Tell me, how did you ring in 2017? Any special foods, and what did you use for the toast?
Well, we had a great meal, actually, provided by Thomas, our French astronaut counterpart. He had special food made from kind of regions in France that he is from or parts of his family are from. So we enjoyed that down in the Russian segment, so we made it a truly international celebration for 2017.
Well, you're going to have to tell me what French delicacies you dined on. I'm curious. And I'm assuming there was no champagne, so what did you use instead of bubbly?
Unfortunately, no bubbly. We just had juice, but we had we had ox tongue, which I'm not a big fan of. But Shane thought it was pretty good. I liked the chicken. It was in a white wine sauce, and then for dessert, it was a gingerbread with lots of vanilla in it. It was very tasty.
Well, you guys lucked out having a French astronaut up there with you during New Year's. Could you share any space-themed New Year's resolutions that you might have made?
Well, I haven't thought of that one, I guess, Marcia, but we're really geared up right now for our spacewalks that are coming up over the next few weeks. So I think all of our focus right now is on those. And to me, thinking about it now, just to have those be successful and everything to go well would be a great resolution.
Well, how is all the ground preparation going for the spacewalks? I know that there was a lot of robotic work that needed to be done in advance. Is that completed? Is everything going as expected?
Actually, it's going extremely well. They're a little bit ahead of schedule. They've gotten all the batteries out that they were planning to get out. They have, I think, a few more moves to do to get them temp stowed. And I think they're pretty much ready for us to go out shortly. So we're very pleased that that went as smoothly as it did.
Well, it's been almost 9 years since your last spacewalks. What are the pros and cons, considering so much time has passed since you last ventured out the hatch? I imagine psychologically it's good to have experienced it once before, but, you know, a while has passed. How is that going out again after so long?
Well, there definitely has been some time, but it's actually interesting once you get into the procedures. You're like, oh yeah, I remember that. Oh yeah, and don't forget about this. I screwed up and did this. You need to not do that. And so it's been a good learning experience going through, getting ready, the whole preparation process to remind us of everything that happened 9 years ago. Well,
Peggy, a couple questions for you. Acknowledging your record as the world's oldest spacewoman, how's your body adapting to weightlessness this go around? Is it physically what you expected, or even easier? How has is there any toll at all that you can see, having age been a factor for the last decade? Tell me about this.
Okay, well, between my first and my second flight, it was only 5 years, and your body does learn how to adapt to being in space. I was a little concerned that since it was 8 years since I'd last flown, I was concerned that my body might not remember how to adapt into space, but I think I adapted even faster this time. So my body hadn't forgotten, even though it had been a few years. I think, if anything, I love being in space. I sleep like a baby. I mean, it is amazing, the great sleep. Nothing hurts when you're laying in bed, so you can sleep the whole night through. It's great.
Well, that sounds like a great advertisement for everybody over a certain age. Spacewalking is strenuous no matter how you cut it. And did you exercise extra hard before the flight, at least to be prepped for that? It's probably one of the most grueling things on Earth or in space, physically, I would think.
It is very physically challenging. I think the reason that a lot of us find it so interesting to do is because of the physical and mental challenge that's required, to keep the big picture in mind, to keep all the tests in mind. But at the same time, there is just a physical toll of having to do this. We have a really great exercise machine that's here since I flew the last time. It's called the Advanced Resistive Exercise Device. And it is phenomenal. I'm really, really impressed with it. I would say I'm probably building muscle up here, so I'm very pleased.
Well, for either of you, is this going to be a particularly difficult spacewalk, or is it pretty straightforward as they go? I just didn't know how complicated a task these battery changeouts will be, or how particularly difficult.
Well, I think all of them are fairly straightforward if everything works well, but you never know how that's going to go. We're prepared, obviously, to do everything nominally, but if things start going wrong or the bolts aren't driving correctly, the team on the ground has got a great plan for us, and they're going to make sure we can do whatever we can based on the way the hardware is behaving. Haven't seen the robotic operations over the last few days, though. Everything, like Peggy mentioned earlier, is going very smoothly, so we're expecting the same. And there's nothing easy when you go outside, by the way.
There's a lot of space and science fiction movies that have come out in the last month or two, and I'm wondering, have you had a chance? Have they beamed up any of these new movies? And, of course, Hidden Figures comes to the forefront of my mind, but, there's Arrival, there's Passengers, a lot of good space-related stuff, and didn't know if you'd gotten any time off or built, possibilities of seeing them yet up there.
We have had the good fortune of seeing a few of those. We saw Passengers, which we really enjoyed. We saw the new Star Wars, and I'll let Peggy talk about the last one.
And we also got to see Hidden Figures. So we've been very privileged to get to see some of the early screenings on these movies. And it's actually a lot of fun, seeing space movies while you're in space, too.
That's true.
Well, when you're watching these movies, I'm assuming they're in English. Do you have to do a lot of translating for your crew members, or are they subtitled in their languages? How does that work?
So they are in English and no subtitles. So the Russian crew members sometimes join us, sometimes don't. But when they're here, if they have a question, they'll ask us. But in general, they just follow along. Most of them are pretty good action movies, and you can kind of just get the gist of things just by watching it.
Well, if you get a chance, get Mission Control to send up Arrival, too, because that was terrific. Tell me, Shane, you're coming home next month. I'm assuming you'll still be able to catch the Super Bowl up on orbit, or how's the timing on all that going to fall out?
Yeah, currently we're planning to come home at the end of February. So, yeah, we would be up here for Super Bowl, and we're looking forward to that, especially since it's in Houston this year. So we got a lot of events planned for our crew to help out with that. So we're looking forward to it. Well,
can you share some of the things that you might be taking part in? And do you have a favorite so far in terms of the teams that might be playing?
Well, I'd obviously vote for the Houston Texans. So they'll start their playoff run next week, and we'll see how that goes. I'm not sure what Public Affairs has planned for us, but I just know we're going to be involved with the Super Bowl committee that's in Houston. And we've done a few videos already for kind of pregame things for the NFL Network. So we're looking forward to seeing how all that plays out.
And Peggy, I know you had the cookie decorating contest for Christmas, and I know you enjoy cooking and good food. Anything else you got planned over the next few months to help improve the diet up there?
Well, we do have a couple of birthdays coming up in February, so I've got a little plan for some special dinners that we're going to have during that time frame.
Well, great. Well, listen, both of you, it's been a pleasure talking to you. I wish you the best of everything in 2017 and safe travels.
Thanks, Marcia.
Station, this is Houston ACR. That concludes the Associated Press portion of the event. Please stand by for a voice check from CBS Radio News.
CBS, this is Bill Harwood, CBS News at the Kennedy Space Center. How do you copy?
Hey, Bill, we read you loud and clear.
Hey, thanks, Shane. It's great to see you guys. I obviously appreciate you taking a few minutes to chat with me. Wondering how your New Year's went, how you guys celebrated that, and life aboard station in a holiday season.
Well, we got such a great crew. It's been fun sharing this holiday season up here together. We are away from our families. We miss them dearly, but this has been a great space family that we've been able to be a part of. For the New Year's, we had a great dinner down in the Russian segment, but the food was all provided by Thomas Pesquet, our French astronaut. We had really great food and just enjoyed ringing in the New Year, sitting around with our friends and talking.
Did you guys get to watch any football or see any of the college or pro games?
Yeah, we get to see some football as well. They've been kind enough to kind of live stream up a few games, pro games on Sundays and college games on Saturdays. So for me, it's been a nice way to kind of stay in touch with things at home.
Well, listen, guys, I want to kind of focus on the EVAs coming up and the battery swap outs for the rest of this interview. I've been following the robotics work on the ground, and it looks like things have gone really well. I mean, it's got a good head start on the swap outs, and how's it been going from your perspective?
Well, we've been watching them on the robotic workstation here. Everything looks like it's going very smoothly, and the flight directors have given us some reports, and everything sounds fantastic. So we're knocking on wood and hoping everything will continue as such, and hoping that ours will also be all nominal. We love nominal.
Yeah, well, as much as I dislike the word, I like it too. Tell me why you need to change out the batteries. In layman's terms, what's going on that you need to replace these guys?
Well, the batteries that are out there now have been up here for the duration of the space station, so some over a decade, and the others even more. So it's just kind of time to change them out. We've gotten more efficient, of course, just like things on Earth. The batteries now are a little smaller. One of the sizes of the old ones now takes the place of two with an adapter plate. So you'll hear a lot of adapter plate talk going on with the spacewalk. So Peggy and I will be installing the adapter plates and moving a few of the old batteries onto those adapter plates. And it's just time, I guess, and we're going to do this on the starboard side of the space station. They're in Spacewalks 1 and 2. And a year or so from now, they'll take care of the port side. So we're just kind of changing out the batteries. They're due for a change out.
Okay, so I guess it's like my cell phone. I mean, after a while, it won't hold a charge as long, or does it just lose efficiency or something?
It's actually exactly just like that. Or your power tools that, they just won't hold very much charge. And so even though the guys on the ground deep cycle ours very frequently, it has to be more and more frequently, we need just new batteries up here. So it'll hold more of a charge. And yet, you remember, we have to have the charge when we're in eclipse. The station is entirely powered by solar energy. So when the Earth is between us and the sun, we are in the dark, and we have to have the power stored by those batteries.
This is probably the most complicated remotely controlled arm work that I can recall anyway. And obviously using Dexter is another major milestone. How's Dexter been doing?
Yeah, it's been doing great. We don't really have any interface with the crew anymore with it, so that's unfortunate for us. But the ground teams are phenomenal. They've been flying it really flawlessly over the last few months, and obviously this past few days, getting ready for our activities have been really fun to watch.
How much of a time saver is the robotics work from JSC in terms of the number of EVAs you guys would have to do if the robotics work wasn't there?
If we didn't have the robotics helping us out, it would be 6 spacewalks for Shane and I to do all the activities. So this way, if everything continues nominally, it will just be 2 spacewalks instead of 6. And the reason that we have to have the 2 is because, unfortunately, the adapter plates don't have an interface for the robotic arm. Lucky for Shane and I.
Yeah, that was my next question. What do you guys bring to the table that the arm doesn't? But the adapter plates are obviously critical. What role do those plates serve? I mean, I know you're going to mount 3 of the old batteries on top of those plates that'll remain in place. But do you need them also to interface the new batteries with the electronics assembly? I'm a little fuzzy on the adapter plates.
Sure. Well, Shane mentioned, there are 3 battery pairs on each side of the place that we're doing the replacements, and so each battery pair is in series. And so if we take it and replace 1 battery or 2 batteries with 1, we still need an adapter plate to flow that energy so that we maintain the circuit. So the adapter plate is basically just a continuation of the power chain, and it also allows us to stow those extra batteries on top.
And so 9 of the old batteries will come home on the pallet. 3 will remain in the IEA, I guess, just in indefinite storage. So 12 out, 6 on, and then you're going to do this 3 more times down the road for the other truss elements?
Yeah, so EVA 2, which will be Thomas Pesquet and myself next Friday on the 13th. We'll take care of the other side of the one that Peggy and I are going to do. And then, about a year or so, whenever the next batteries come up on the next HTV vehicle, then the spacewalks will be planned, I'm sure, shortly after that.
You guys aren't superstitious, are you, Shane?
No, we're looking forward to going out on the 6th and the 13th.
No, I know it. I'm kidding. Looking at these EVAs, are these things complicated as EVA? I mean, I've covered a lot of EVAs. They all seem complicated, but this one seems straightforward, but maybe I'm missing something.
Well, they're all straightforward if everything works great and everything is going well and the crew members are, feeling great. So hopefully that'll all be the case. But we, the ground team's ready for about anything that can happen, and they're going to support us no matter what. They'll keep us safe. They'll make sure that we get the task done that we can get done. But first of all, keep Peggy and I safe outside, and that's our number one goal. But yeah, they're all complicated. When you go outside, the simplest task is not simple anymore. Even moving the tool from one thing to the other, you mentally have to be in the game for 6 to 7 hours, however long you're out there. And that along with the physical challenge of moving that big mass of the suit around, there's nothing easy about it.
Peggy, you're one of NASA's most experienced spacewalkers. How do you look at it? I mean, given all the prep required just to go outside and then watching the astronauts who spend that 6 or 7 hours come back in, it looks, do you ever get a chance to enjoy it out there, or is it just all work and no play?
Well, we're pretty focused when we're out there, and I think we should be, but it's always nice to get just a brief respite to actually look around and see how amazingly beautiful it is. Not only do we have an incredibly beautiful Earth, but it is amazing, the structure that we have out there. And when you're out there in it, it just looks so amazingly large. And it's a miraculous engineering feat to have this football field length of truss with solar arrays that are 239 feet, and then the length of the volume, the pressurized volume, more than a 747. It's really amazing to see that structure from the outside as well too.
Well, it sounds like fun. Shane, I'll ask my last question to you. You're a veteran, obviously. What do you look forward to? Obviously, the work's number one, but just the experience of walking out that hatch or floating out the hatch. What is it you look forward to?
Well, I look forward to just getting this battery replacement done. That's our goal. The mission is, we know what our mission is. We're going to go out there and accomplish the mission. And that's what I look forward to. We will get a chance, like Peggy mentioned, maybe to peek around a little bit. And those will be some great memories, and we'll take a few pictures while we're out there. But that's all kind of secondary. We're going to get the mission done, and then if we have a little time at the end, we'll enjoy the view a little bit.
Guys, thanks a lot. Happy 2017. Good luck with the EVAs, and look forward to talking with you down the road.
Thanks, Bill. Happy 2017.
Station, this is Houston ACR. That concludes the event.